Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new LEGO Star Wars set review. And this is Koons Starfighter. This is a mock-on rebrickable that uses two sets, one of which is a LEGO Star Wars set, and the other is just a LEGO Creator 3-in-1 set. The three sets you will need to create this Koons Starfighter is Jedi Bob Starfighter, the aircraft race plane, and Koons Jedi Starfighter Microfighter. Jedi Bob Starfighter is $40 United States, the race plane is around $20 to $25, and Koons is $15, so it's definitely a pretty penny. For this one Starfighter, you're paying around $80, which is definitely a lot for one Starfighter, but in my opinion, it's definitely worth the price, seeing that we're not getting one from LEGO. Before we go any further, I would like to give all credit to Will Crafting on Rebrickable for making this set and making the ability for us to have a decently affordable Koons Starfighter in 2025. And now we can take a look at the actual model. When I built this model, I just combined the two sets, and you don't actually have to use anything from this set if you don't want to. All I did was add the stud shooters because A, I don't like them, but I just think they make it look more in line with the other ones that you see in LEGO. But one thing you definitely can do is add these pieces to this set and just add some more detail to it in some different spots. With this build, you are getting a Plo Koon minifigure and his droid's head, but nothing really else to it at all for this price range. You are getting Jedi Bob, however, and his clone trooper, which is definitely odd because it's missing its helmet, and it's not a normal clone trooper, but you still have a great build and a decent minifigure selection. Now let's finally take a look at what this set can really offer. Again, this set is quite large. It has a decently large wingspan. Here's this, I guess, my ruler for measurement. It definitely goes quite far. These are about 10 to 12. They're about 12 each. So again, it's around 20, 30 studs long. So it's definitely quite large. And here's Obi-Wan Kenobi's, for example, for a good comparison. We can put Plo Koons up front and Obi-Wan Kenobi's to the side of it. And you can see they're about the same size. Plo Koons is ever so slightly larger. And again, this is just a normal Starfighter pretty much, not like with all the details, but one of my favorite details is how seamless this connection is all the way through. Using these tile pieces, I don't remember what they're called, but they're edge pieces, and they close this gap really well, which is something I wish they did on the previous sets because there's huge gaps on them, and I think they look horrible, and it's such an easy fix that this model completed. And we can also take a look at the underside, where there's two spring-loaded shooters, and there's a place to put your lightsaber, one on either end, and then we have the stand itself, like the landing gear. However, when you land it normally, like that, it definitely is a little lopsided towards the back. You have to move it down at least by one to make it look a little bit better. You can move it down by two. I would say that's a little bit too much, but again, it's still pretty decent. And now we can take a quick look at the back of this. The back of this is actually very good. You have two engines. They're probably the wrong color, but they still look pretty good. You have this, which is very seamless all the way through. And you just have one weak connection point pretty much in this whole thing, which is this that likes to pop off really easily. And when you build this, it looks a little bit different. You'll see why, and I'll talk about it later in this video. However, I added the spring-loaded shooters here, so you can easily take them off. This is how the set normally looks. It honestly looks better without them, but for sake of this review, I'm just gonna have them on because I don't hate them, and it just gives it a little play feature, but it definitely looks a little bit awkward. You can also place them towards the front here by replacing these and moving that to here. And you can't place it there because that stud needs to be at a certain angle to where you can't place anything on those studs. So it is one in and makes it look a little bit awkward. But if you were to do this, this is how it would look. Doesn't look horrible, doesn't look great at all though. And then we can also take a look at where the droid sits. It literally just, the head of it just sits on one stud, and this was in the Koons Starfighter. So it's definitely nice to have some sort of droid companion for this. Just sad to see that we don't have the rest of it. And then of course we can open up this, and it's just a very simple insides, has a little headrest, and you can place Plo Koon right in like so, and you can close it, and he fits honestly perfectly. And yeah, that's pretty much everything to this model. It's nothing too crazy, but it doesn't need to be. It's a Starfighter, and it doesn't need to be more than that. The wings don't move, it stays in its shape, it does its job, which is something that LEGO did not do in this instance, which is definitely something that's a little bit provoking to me. This set should have been an actual Starfighter. They need to stop doing this. They should, I wouldn't have minded if this was a $40 Starfighter. It shouldn't be a $40 Starfighter by any means, but we should have at least gotten one. That, again, with Captain Rex's Y-Wing, they should have had both of these being a set, and it's just not, which is definitely sad to see from LEGO. But that is everything in today's review. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys subscribe, and I'll see you all again later. Goodbye.